Taking a look at today's equity index futures markets, let's look at the NASDAQ futures as they were able to find a gain today, realizing a small gain today after trading lower a couple times intraday. The NASDAQ futures were able to push higher near the close of today's session and up about 25 basis points currently, and looking at 13,930, stemming some of the recent selling pressure. And we did see intraday, we did see the NASDAQ futures actually trade at a 1-month low before recovering here late in the session, and really kind of played out across all the equity index futures markets, where we did see some plus and minus price action today from Thursday's close, excuse me. But ultimately, we are realizing, at least in the S&P and the NASDAQ, a small gain today. Now, the Russell futures were still down quite a bit on the session, down about 80 basis points, or just under 1%. Even with the late day rally. And when you look at some of the driving factors today, I think really you have to focus on the interest rate environment, rates not only here in the United States, but from a global perspective. For the market, still uncertain as to how that's going to play out and how that's going to impact pricing structures moving forward. So I think that was one of the driving factors today, as we did see the 10-year push up to 286 basis points, so pushing that top end of the range. And with that, we are, again, seeing the markets reacting intraday, where the NASDAQ futures were positive and negative twice throughout the session before finishing slightly higher today. And also, economic activity, the lockdowns in China continuing to influence the global structure as far as how that's going to impact economic activity moving forward. And the third thing would be earnings, where we did get really bank earnings highlighted here the last couple of trading sessions. Today we did see some positive reactions and negative reactions depending on which bank reported. But overall, as we move through this week, we are going to start to see more and more earnings roll out, particularly in the tech sector, which will have a pretty significant influence on the NASDAQ futures. And I think that's something the market continues to eyeball here, and maybe why we did see a little bit of this price action or sideways action in today's session. Looking at the general trends, as I mentioned, the NASDAQ futures did trade down intraday to the lowest level since March 16th. And we kind of saw that play out in the S&P futures as well. Now, the overall, over the course of the last month, the Dow futures continue to show a little bit more stability relative to some of the other major equity index futures markets. And today, when you look at the Russell futures, they were the weakest performer today, down about 80 basis points on the session.